He wasn't supposed to notice her. In a house full of secrets, the maid was invisible. That's how she survived. But that night, under the marble chandelier, when she poured him a drink, his eyes lifted just once and froze. The bruise on her neck wasn't small. It was a shadow against porcelain skin, a silent confession she never meant to reveal. His glass never reached his lips. For the first time, the cold-hearted Mafia boss forgot how to breathe. He didn't ask who did it. Not yet, because the way her hands shook told him more than words could. In this world, bruises weren't accidents, they were messages. And whoever sent this one had just declared war. He leaned back, voice low and dangerous. "Who touched you?" She didn't answer, but her silence spoke louder than any scream. And in that moment, he made a promise someone would pay for that mark. What would you have done if you were him? Walk away, or burn the whole city for one broken girl? Fire subscribe to Hidden Mafia Story, because in this world, love isn't gentle. It's a war you either win or die in. The night after the dinner, I couldn't sleep. The storm outside hadn't stopped. Rain thrashed against the glass like it was trying to warn me. Every drop sounded like a heartbeat I didn't want to hear. He had seen it, the bruise, and once he saw something, he never forgot. I told myself it didn't matter. I was just the maid. I cleaned up his messes, washed his blood-stained shirts, and pretended not to hear the whispers that followed him through the halls. But deep down, I knew better. When Luca de Rossi looked at you, you became a problem he needed to solve one way or another. By morning, his men were gone. The house felt too quiet. I tried to focus, mopping the marble floor, aligning the silverware, but my hands wouldn't stop trembling. Then I heard it. "Come to my office." His voice traveled through the hallway like a command carved into stone. When I entered, he didn't look up right away. Papers were scattered on his desk. Invoices, ledgers, photographs, the kind of files no maid should ever see. His hand rested beside a pistol, not casually but deliberately, a reminder of who he was. "Who did it?" His tone was calm, too calm. "I fell," I whispered. He leaned back, studying me, the lie hanging in the air between us like smoke. "You don't lie well." I didn't reply, because in his world, truth was currency, and I was already in debt. He stood slowly, walked toward me, and for the first time, I felt the quiet danger in his movements. Not anger precision. Every step calculated, as if even gravity listened to him. "You think I don't know what fear looks like," he murmured. His fingers brushed my chin, turning my face toward the light. It wasn't a touch, it was an interrogation. I flinched. That's when he saw the second bruise, smaller, hidden beneath the collar of my dress. His eyes darkened. "You work for me now," he said quietly. "Not for whoever did this." And just like that, everything changed. Later that night, I overheard the men talking in the corridor. The boss asked for names. "Someone's about to disappear." I wanted to stop him, to tell him not to make this about me. But when I went to his office, the door was half open. He was on the phone, voice low, lethal. "Find him. And when you do, make sure he remembers why you never touch what's mine." The word mine burned through me like fire. I wanted to hate it, the possessiveness, the control. But a small, broken part of me felt safe. No one had ever claimed me before. Not like that. Hours later, I found the first sign, a black car parked across the street, engine running. His men were waiting. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. He wasn't just protecting me. He was declaring war. He didn't know the truth. The man who hurt me wasn't a rival. He was family. My brother. And by morning, Luca de Rossi would have him killed. The morning came in silence, that kind of silence that follows after something terrible has already been decided. I could feel it in the air, in the way the mansion seemed to breathe differently. Every servant spoke in whispers, as if afraid their words might trigger a bullet. Luca hadn't left his office all night. When he finally stepped out, his eyes were red, not from sleep, but from rage restrained too tightly. He adjusted his cufflinks like he was dressing for a funeral. "He's found?" he asked one of his men. "Yes, boss. He won't get far." And that's when I realized I had no time left. I tried to follow him out of the mansion, but the guard stopped me. "You don't go where he goes," one said. "Not today." I wanted to scream, to tell them they were about to kill the only person left who shared my blood. But in this house, emotion was weakness, and weakness got people buried. So I ran to my room, grabbed my phone, and called my brother. The call barely rang once before he answered, his voice trembling. "He knows, doesn't he? You need to leave, Matteo. Now." There was a pause, then a bitter laugh. "You think running saves me? He's everywhere, Leah. You got close to him, and now he'll use that." And then the line went dead. By the time I reached the garage, Luca was already there standing beside his black car, coat swaying with the wind. He saw me, and for the first time, his expression wasn't anger. It was something else. Something almost hurt. "You shouldn't be here," he said. "You're about to make a mistake," I replied. He tilted his head, studying me like a puzzle he'd already solved. "You think I don't know what I'm doing. You don't know who you're doing it to." His jaw tightened. "Then tell me." But I couldn't. Because how do you tell a man like him that the person he's hunting, the one who dared to hurt his maid, is your own brother? He stepped closer until his breath brushed my skin. "You're protecting someone," he said softly, "and I'll find out who." The way he said it in a calm way, certain made my heart pound with dread. He didn't need answers. He collected them. Hours passed, and I thought maybe he'd left. But then I heard the echo of engines outside. The convoy was ready. He was going to finish this himself. That's when I did something reckless. I stole one of his cars. The engine roared to life, and the guards shouted behind me, but I didn't care. I just drove. Fast. Faster than fear could catch me. The city blurred past. Rain. Lights, chaos. All I could think about was finding Matteo before Luca did. When I found my brother, he was hiding in the same place we used to play as kids, an abandoned factory on the edge of town. He looked worse than I remembered. Thinner, scared, but still defiant. "You shouldn't have come," he said. "You shouldn't have hurt me," I whispered. He looked away. "You think that bruise was the worst thing I did? You don't know what he made me do, Leah. You think your boss is a savior? He's the reason we're all dying." My heart froze. "What do you mean?" "He had father killed," he said. "And now he's cleaning up the rest." Before I could respond, I heard it, the sound of approaching cars. Luca had found us. My brother grabbed my arm. "You need to run. I'm not leaving you." The headlights cut through the fog, and Luca's silhouette appeared at the entrance. Tall, unhurried, death walking with purpose. "So this is him," he said quietly. "The man who touched you." And that's when everything spiraled. My brother reached for a gun. Luca didn't blink. A single shot echoed. The sound of the gunshot tore through the factory like a scream. For a moment, everything froze. The dust hung in the air, my breath caught in my chest, and the world narrowed to the echo of that single, shattering sound. When I opened my eyes, I saw my brother on the ground. The gun slipped from his hand. His blood painted the concrete floor. And Luca, he was still standing, unmoved, unbroken, his face unreadable under the dim light. I dropped to my knees beside Matteo. "No, no, no," I whispered, pressing my hands against the wound. "Stay with me." His eyes flickered open, glassy with pain. "You shouldn't have come," he said. "You don't know what he is." Tears blurred my vision. "You're my brother, and he's your undoing." Luca's men surrounded us, guns drawn, waiting for his command. But he said nothing. He just stared at me like he was watching his own reflection crack. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm. "He was going to kill you. And you think this is better?" I shot back. He looked down at the lifeless body on the ground, then at me. "You lied to me. Protected him. Because you wouldn't have listened." The silence between us felt heavier than the smoke around us. I stood up slowly, my hands trembling and red. "You think power means you can decide who lives and who dies. Power means I can protect what's mine." The words hit harder than the shot itself. He wasn't talking about the empire. He was talking about me. "You don't own me," I said. He stepped closer. "Then why do you keep running back?" His breath was warm against my face, his voice lower now, dangerous in a different way. "You wanted the truth. Your brother wasn't innocent. He was selling information to my enemies, the people who killed your father." My chest tightened. "You're lying." "Am I?" He tossed a small file onto the floor. Papers scattered, photos, reports, evidence. My father's name was in every line, and every signature led back to Matteo. The truth burned colder than betrayal ever could. Matteo hadn't just betrayed Luca. He betrayed me. My world, the little that was left of it, crumbled in silence. I sank to the ground. Luca knelt beside me. "I didn't want you to see this," he said softly. "But you made me." Tears streamed down my face. "You killed him. To save you." I hated him for being right. I hated myself for feeling something other than hate. I looked at the blood between us and whispered, "There's nothing left to save." He stood, his expression unreadable again. "Then I'll build something new," he said, "with or without your forgiveness." He walked away slow, deliberate, every step echoing through the emptiness. His men followed, leaving me alone with the ghost of my past. I held my brother's hand one last time. His skin was already cold. In the distance, I heard engines fade and thunder roll in. And then, in the heavy silence that followed, I made a promise, not to Luca, not to Matteo, but to myself. "You think you've buried the past," I whispered. "But the past has claws." I walked out of the factory, blood on my hands and fire in my heart. Luca thought he ended a chapter, but he'd just written my beginning. He thought she was broken. But sometimes, the quiet ones are the ones who burn the world to the ground. Subscribe. The next story might show what love looks like when vengeance wears its face. Months passed, but the sound of that gunshot still haunted me like an echo that refused to die. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his face, Luca's, and the blood between us. He had saved me by destroying everything I loved. I thought distance would heal me. It didn't. I tried to start over, to bury the memories beneath new streets, new names. But every night, I'd look over my shoulder, half expecting to see him standing in the dark watching, waiting, like a ghost that refused to fade. One evening, I found a letter slipped under my door. No name, no return address, just 4 words written in Italian. Come find the truth. It was his handwriting. I don't know what possessed me to go back, but my heart led me before my mind could stop me. The address took me to a villa outside Naples, quiet, surrounded by vineyards and guarded by silence. The same kind of silence that comes before a storm. When I walked in, the scent of smoke and wine filled the air. And there he was, Luca Moretti, the man who ruined my world and the man my heart still betrayed me for. He didn't move when he saw me. He just smiled, faint and tired. I was waiting for you. I should have shot him. I wanted to, but all I could do was whisper. You sent the letter. I owed you the truth. He handed me a file, thicker than the one I'd seen before. Your brother wasn't the only one they turned, he said quietly. The same people who killed your father are the ones who wanted me dead. Matteo was just the bait. I opened the file. Inside were documents, names, payments, death orders, all leading to one name. The man who raised us, the one we both called father. Tears burned down my face. So it was all a lie. Everything but this, he said. He stepped closer, eyes locked on mine. I never meant to fall in love with you. But I did. For the first time in forever, I didn't feel fear in his voice. Just pain. Real, human pain. You destroyed everything I loved, I whispered. And now I have nothing left to lose. I raised my gun, the same one that had ended Matteo's life. Luca didn't flinch. He took one step closer. Then do it, he said softly. End it. I could have pulled the trigger. But the truth was, love isn't something you kill. It's something that kills you slowly every time you try to forget. The gun fell from my hand. I collapsed into his arms, hitting him with every ounce of hate, pain, and longing left in me. And he just held me tight, desperate, like someone who'd been waiting his whole life for forgiveness he'd never earn. You broke me, I said through tears. Then let me be the one to fix you, he whispered. In that broken moment, something in both of us shifted. The pain didn't disappear, but it became something else. Something fierce. Something real. He kissed my forehead, a silent truce written in breath and regret. And for once I didn't pull away. Weeks later, the empire changed hands. We burned the files, buried the past, and somewhere between revenge and redemption, we built something fragile, not peace, but an understanding. I still don't know if what we have is love or just the wreckage of it. But when I wake beside him and the sun hits his scars, I know one thing. Even monsters can bleed, and sometimes even they deserve a second chance. She walked into his world to destroy him, and left holding his heart instead. Subscribe, because love like this doesn't end, it haunts.